Salutations, powerful souls. My name is Jill Blunt, and thank you for sharing space again at the channel. Today's video is about the overused word friendship in our lives personally, and this channel is about spiritual awakening and mental health healing. If this is something you're interested in, please give us a thumbs up because it really helps the channel since we're new. Click the notification bell to keep up to date on when we post, and subscribe. In this particular video, I also happen to be co-conscious with Juju and Vaughn. So if you see any type of interchanging or a difference in how we sound, what we say, or our demeanor, it is because it is all three of us at the front right now delivering this video. They are pretty much here to support me because there's been a bit of a break since we last posted, and this topic is dear to all of us in the system, but specifically the three of us. Okay, so this first statement is legit not a woe's me at all. I don't believe in close friendships anymore. I honestly love the idea of friendship and appreciate all of the ones in our lives that have really changed our lives in amazing ways. But from now on, I just don't think that it's safe to be close with anyone anymore. And this doesn't mean that we are closed off to meeting new people or won't be transparent or won't be cordial. We'll totally be all of those things and conduct business if it arises, or if there's business already going on. However, that is it, and there will just be a distance moving forward, even with those factors. Why, you ask? Because of two things. My intuition has grown to massive heights. At the same time, the alters in the DID system that I am in have always had their own feelings about people and situations in my life. People have not always been able to handle that or did not realize it, and I'm no longer going to feel bad about how we are, how I am, and how we interact with the world. My mom always told me when I was growing up that, specifically really young years, that she was always worried that I would go home with a stranger because I was so trusting and sweet and would say hi to everyone. And honestly, that nature of purity really has become taken advantage of over the years. I consider my friendship history throughout the years like the Kingda car roller coaster, and I choose this specific one because it is the tallest and fastest roller coaster in the world. However, as soon as you get up, like the same speed you get up there is the same speed that you're going down, and that's exactly how I felt like my relationships have been. Relationships, friendships, wow, I said relationships. It was meant to be said. Pretty much the same thing. Relationships and friendships have been the same way, because as soon as the bond is created and all the trust is there right away before vetting out who the person is the same speed of a downward spiral that I feel like the friendship would go. And this is not to say that every single friendship has been horrible. Not at all. It's just, as I keep explaining, you'll get what I'm trying to say. However, there's been one specific group in my life that has not downward spiraled fast. It took about 13 years for it to do that. However, we have now reached that point. And this video, I just want to make clear, is not a jab or a shade sesh towards anybody in particular. This is just literally my overall feeling and stance on friendship, period, with the whole gist of friendship. That's all. There have also been one-on-one friendships that I personally feel like, or some of the alters feel like, would drain our energy or my energy, whether it be from my kindness, my power, my attention, their jealousy, or etc. Or something after a while just feels off. During most of these, the alters would do or say different things that would help me either deal with or get away from these situations. For so long, I used to think that there was something wrong with me when it came to interacting with people or being in certain environments, and then later finding out that I had alters in a DID system. So now I'm coming to a, how can I put this, a space in my life where, okay, now I'm aware of the alters, and now I'm aware that, you know, it's not just something wrong with me, but there's just an ongoing cycle of not feeling comfortable with people, or if I do feel comfortable, feeling like something else is being done and I shouldn't be there or shouldn't be around them, or so I'm turned off by friendship, period. And as much as I love a lot of people in my life, don't get me wrong, like I'm really wanting to make sure that you all know I love a lot of the people in my life. I'm legit on edge to be close to anybody anymore. Like, I'm a hermit to the fullest capacity. There's some people that I could be a whole clown with, totally myself, and then there's other people that I feel completely uncomfortable to be around, no matter what I do or no matter what mindset I try to put myself in. And there's some people that the altars vibe with and trust, and there's some people that the altars completely do not vibe with and trust, which has also been affecting my friendships throughout the lifetime that I've been living in this lifetime. Where am I going with that? Throughout the lifetime. Throughout this particular lifetime, it's been affecting my interactions with people. So yeah, the reasons why some of the altars might be on guard with some people is because of either energetic reasons or a trigger. And same thing with me. There's different times, moments, and things like Ty mentioned in our last video that cause a switch and cause a trigger. And with certain energies or certain things or people, this increases. And some people just have not been able to handle that very well. I will no longer allow anyone to make us feel bad for how we are, and especially will not allow anyone to tell us or tell me that I am using the altars as an excuse. So sick of people feeling like they have the right to say something like that when they don't know what it's like to live with this disorder. And I don't even want to call it a disorder, because I don't like calling anything a disorder, because Western society has completely changed the whole viewpoint on what disorders are, when it's actually a whole different thing, but that's a different topic for a different video. However, the only time that I even know what is happening is if we are co-conscious. But there's times where I don't know what's happening, and I don't know how they're treating someone or what they're saying. If there's a blackout switch, which is what we call it, but for better terminology, an amnesiac. It's so like a tongue twister. Amnesiac. A switch with amnesia involved. Let's just. Yes, once a trigger happens, whether large or small, they get into protection mode. Now, protection mode doesn't always mean that we feel a physical danger. It's also when there might be an emotional danger and somebody's on guard of whether if I'm feeling something or if whoever is at the front, if they're feeling something. This protection mode can happen before we get into the building somewhere or the house somewhere, or it can happen once we leave and we're feeling something outside of somewhere. And it happens different times at different moments. And totally, like, honestly, that is what comes first before anything else, because of different things that we've gone through in the past. One of the biggest things also is that most of the time people do not notice that we're actually switching throughout the day. This is just how our system is, and every system is different. Now, we're not expecting everyone to be attentive and on, when it comes to noticing when we switch, but we don't also have to put ourselves in the hands of someone who doesn't notice, because at this point, it's very hindering to our comfort and our growth to be around someone who does not notice, because then it always ends up leading to some sort of disagreement, whereas the person doesn't either realize it or doesn't acknowledge it. Now, when you are in communication or interaction with us, there's 11 of us. There's not just me or Vaughn or Juju. There's Eden, there's Finley, there's Ty, there's Kimora. Kimora doesn't speak. She actually only communicates telepathically. However, you get the gist of what I'm saying. Julie is usually inside of the internal world. However, if Juju feels comfortable to let her out, that's usually when she comes out. But for the most part, there's about a good 8 out of 11 of us that are in communication with people throughout the day. It doesn't mean that all of us come out throughout the day, but some of us come out. Or maybe there's days where none of us come out, and it's just one person at the front, or 2 people that might be co-conscious. And it's frustrating when these disagreements happen and it's like it feels redundant to explain, well, it might be this or it might be that, and the person feels like, you're making an excuse. I can't tell you enough how annoying that is. Sincerely. And Jaja at this point, it's almost like she rarely comes out these days and prefers to only speak to my best friend, which I truly can't blame her. after a lot of what the altars have put her through, and the way the world receives her sometimes, which is a shame. But that's also a different topic for a different day in a different video. My sister and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and she truly said this perfectly when she explained to me her philosophy on the action-based person and the emotional-based person. The action-based person, or the action-based friend, is one who has not really experienced much trauma, doesn't really feel emotion or in touch with their emotion, or if they have experienced trauma, they have learned how to completely heal from it or ignore it and sweep it under the rug so that way it does not affect them, and they have a very get it done momentum. And so they will always view the emotional based person as lazy or one who makes excuses. Then you have the emotional based person who has experienced trauma and has not yet healed entirely from all of it, or has not, is not the type of person to sweep anything under the rug, and is a very let's assess it first and confront our emotions first before anything gets done. Now, the action-based person the emotional-based person will always view the action-based person as insensitive, uncaring, and unnurturing, because the action-based person usually has sometimes a dismissive view on the emotions with the emotional-based person, and the emotional-based person has a very, how could you be so cold view on the action-based person. I hope that makes sense. She also mentioned that these two types of people usually have disagreements and cannot really be that close as friends and just simply do not mesh. Now, not meshing does not mean that we wish harm on anyone. It just means that we cannot be close, and that is totally okay. Everyone is not meant to be close. Even darkness and light was separated in the beginning of time. Thank you so much for watching today's video, which was a low-key vent session just to release something heavy that's been on my shoulders. And I thank the altars for also being co-con with me for support. And if you would like to keep up with us on our regular scheduled programming next week, we will be back with videos on spiritual awakening and mental health healing. And I wish everyone a wonderful, magical week.